things being equal, a new tax regime was scheduled to go into operation in Nigeria on Thursday, January the 1st, 2026, under the administration of National Revenue Service. The commencement of the new order comes under a cloud and increasing scrutiny about the legislative process that birthed it. How certain functionaries of the Tinubu government allegedly tampered with the document from Parliament before presidential assent was given, and a groundswell of public disapproval in the aftermath. Critically, President Bola Tinubu considered it right to dismiss all misgivings about the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025 and signed off on it. Well, for a conversation around the takeoff of the new tax law and what Nigerians should expect, we're now being joined by Sam Caulcrick, a tax consultant. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So what are the major changes introduced by the new tax law compared to the previous regime, and what do you make of all the controversies that are surrounded it?
I think the major one should be, the Constitution, the one we had before, mandated the federal government not to interfere with PITs, that is the personal income tax, which is the major thing. And the subnationals didn't have the tools for the compliance. That's why so many people were not paying. And we all got away with it, but then it has hurt the economy so much. It has widened their income inequality in the society, whereby when the government relinquished means of production to the private sector, which came into effect in the 80s. Government used to run the schools, the health centers. So when government relinquished those things, there was no mechanism for the government to share out of the profit, like the CIT and all these things. And the personal people were just getting away with whatever. So nothing was coming to the government to really cater for the general public. So what this one has done is that, look, the federal government has the tools, as the BVN. The federal government has the tools to know what everybody has, but the state's government did not have. So now the federal government can tell the states, Mr. A has so much, instead of Mr. A just coming around and say, I only earn so and so. So now that clarity is going to come from what we have now. And let me say this categorically, anybody that says a market economy can prosper without taxation does not know the fundamentals of market economy. From what I just explained, the market economy says the government should relinquish the means of production to the private sector, but nothing comes back to the government. So what has happened in Nigeria is that over the years, the public domestic debt has increased. Today we are owing about 80.7 trillion to Nigerians. This 80.7 trillion supposed to have come in as taxes to the government. Yeah. Now we still have to service it. Yeah. So the government has been, handicapped. They have to service the money that's supposed to be the heirs. Mm-hmm. It's like using Abu's money to entertain Abu. All right, that's if you buy something that sounds like that. So, but this new tax something will really correct that. Okay. And I would say it is the greatest step ever taken since Nigeria transitioned in 1986 to the market economy.
Well, that's encouraging to hear. Considering all the backlash that it's getting, there are some bits in it that are progressive. And for small businesses, though, because everybody is asking, how does it affect me personally? How does it affect my business? So for those out there, there's the introduction of the mandatory e-invoicing and the Nigeria Revenue Service technology, which sounds like a good idea. Yeah. What should small businesses and owners be doing today and in the next couple of weeks to avoid any kind of penalties? And exactly what does it mean?
It's education, really. It's education. We have tax experts all over the place. Nigerians, we really don't want to invest in whatever tool that will save our money. the clarity is not known yet. It doesn't, it's not so clear yet. But then as time goes on, people get to know what to do. But it's all about education. I think government has their work cut out for them, because they need to really go out and educate, but publicly, the general public about this.
Okay, so how will the new tax law, affect personal income tax obligations? And then what changes should salary earners and self-employed Nigerians be most aware of?
Yes, it's all about bookkeeping. It's all about keeping receipts, because the government, what is going to happen now, from the little I understand, is that government is going to be very proactive. Instead of government waiting for you to come and file tax returns, right? Government is going to be very proactive. You now have to rush to file the returns to say, look, out of this income, out of this 10 I earned, right? A, B, C, D are times exempt, so that you can get the relief. Even if government are taking it from you, right? Then they can send you checks, just like they do elsewhere.
Abroad.
Yeah.
Well, there's also going to affect Nigerians that are working remotely for international companies on ground there that are going to be getting paid in foreign currencies. So there's new residency rules for that. Are you aware of them? Would they be legally required to pay tax in Nigeria, even if their salaries are paid in US dollars or euros, but they work for international companies?
Yes, since 2022, there's been a global collaboration about 176 countries. I think Nigeria and Nigeria have signed into it now that we have the tools to really affect it. Right. But before now, it was about 176 countries. Maybe Nigeria should be at the 177 now. That's to share information, data. And they all agree, the G7, the World Bank, IMF, and the G20, right? That a lot of people are getting away with murder. You make money here, you go and take it to Dubai, where tax havens. So they share information, and it was agreed that it is where the work was done. So if you are being paid in Russia, but you work here, you pay the tax here. Yeah, you pay the tax here.
Well, very well said. Tax consultant Sam Caulcrick, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.